Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video from me, Pickles Parker Reviews. Oh, that's weird. No intro, no so happy, none of that. Very, very strange. No background music as well, kinda odd, because I always include background music because I personally don't think I'm engaging enough to listen to without background music, but I decided to ditch it today because it's more of a serious video, I suppose. It's a channel update, or it's more of a me update, I suppose. Kind of a two-in-one kind of thing. I want to make this video because ultimately videos on the channel have been more sporadic than they have been recently. Now, one video only in a week may not seem all that bad to some people out there, but I feel like ultimately that is quite sporadic for me, because in January I was pumping out a lot of videos and that's just dropped off of the cliff recently, and I suppose that I wanted to explain why and yeah, just where I am at the moment. And ultimately things haven't been going super well for me recently. If you're not from the UK, you may not know, although I think it's a pretty universal concept, to be quite honest with you. We're currently in a 2-month or maybe even 3-month lockdown right now. It was only supposed to be 1 month, but they've extended it and extended it again, and who knows, we may be in lockdown for months once again. And ultimately it's hit me pretty hard, I will be brutally honest with you, and it's really odd because I don't really know why. But this happened towards the end of the last lockdown, not for a lot of it. For a lot of it, I was really enjoying myself in the sun, watching classic Doctor Who all the time. It was great. And then I think towards the end, just as we got out of lockdown, I started to feel really down, really useless, to be quite honest with you. I just couldn't get the motivation to do anything. I felt like I was wasting days away. I felt so unhappy all of the time, unhappy with myself, but also I couldn't get motivated to do anything. Every single thing I found boring, and ultimately I was just there, just being unhappy with all of the days I was living through. And ultimately that feeling has come back around again in this lockdown. It wasn't there at the very beginning, because even though I was struggling with school, because ultimately in this lockdown we're not at school, I'm not at sixth form, so we have to do online learning opposed to actually going into the school and actually doing learning while you're there. So this is the first time I've actually had to redo online learning, other than the sixth form taster stuff that we had to do ultimately in the latter half of the 2020 lockdown, because fortunately enough for me, I have not had to have been sent home from sixth form because of me being in contact with someone who's had coronavirus. Most people from my school, most people in my friends group have had to have been sent home for a week, 2 weeks, because they've been in contact with someone who has coronavirus. But fortunately, I've been one of the few people who hasn't had to go home to do online learning. So this is kind of the real proper first experience, I suppose, of online learning, and it's really tough. It's really tough. Because it's really hard to get motivated for something that you don't really want to do. Even though I obviously pick these subjects, I enjoy these subjects, it's hard to get motivated to do that when you've got so many distractions. And I just thought, you know, that's just a school thing. Technically it makes sense, because even though you choose the subjects, you don't really want to be doing schoolwork, do you? So ultimately that makes some sort of sense, that you can't really get motivated for that, even though that doesn't seem to be a universal issue. It was an issue I was having. So I thought that was purely down to school. And even though I was struggling to keep up with the schoolwork in the earlier stages of January, I was still enjoying myself. I was still making lots of videos, because ultimately I had more time now. So ultimately I was making a lot more videos, doing a lot more news videos. I was getting really into making videos, which was awesome. As I said, I was making a lot of news videos. I was scheduling loads of podcasts, because I had seen that there were lots of different people starting up Doctor Who podcasts. You've obviously got, my friend Faris has been doing it for ages, and people like Galactic Yo-Yo. But you had AMTV Radio coming back for a second season, the Who News podcast that was just starting up. You also had Frazzles did a podcast, and I felt as if I was really fading into obscurity in terms of my podcast, because I started it in August, and ultimately I felt like I hadn't really made as many episodes as I wanted to. So I really wanted to make loads of episodes and really get it flowing again after some successful episodes I released into December. So that's what I did. I messaged loads of people, returning guests and people who you've never seen before, Doctor Who YouTubers and some other very exciting guests, people who have actually worked on Doctor Who. I contacted these people and I'd ultimately scheduled a load of podcasts, essentially recording one per week across January and February. So I really wanted to make a lot of videos. I was thinking about doing a massive rebrand for the channel. I still am, but I was looking forward to that. And ultimately, I just thought, I'm going to do this rebrand. I'm going to do all these podcasts, but there are just some videos I want to make before the ultimate rebrand. So there were some videos that I was going to make before then that I wanted to get out. However, unfortunately, what was happening with my schoolwork, which was me not being motivated to do it, ultimately sitting down there to do it and just thinking, I can't be bothered, and then just not doing it, actually just affected me with everything, to be quite honest with you. I couldn't be bothered to do anything. I couldn't be bothered to obviously do my schoolwork, but also I couldn't be bothered to play FIFA, which was something I was really enjoying. I got FIFA 21 for Christmas, was playing a load of the games into my career mode save with West Brom, really enjoying that, but ultimately I just lost interest in it, and I'm still playing it at the moment, but I'm not really enjoying it. It's just like weird, I play it because that's the only thing I can get semi-motivated to do, and then I just start playing it and then just switch it off and just feel awful, to be quite honest with you. And so I couldn't get motivated to do that, and I couldn't get motivated to make videos. Ultimately, I just would sit there and think, I'll do this video, I'll just do it later, I'll just do it later, and I'm like, I can't do it, it's dark, I can't record that video, I'll just do it tomorrow. And, the cycle repeats itself. I couldn't be bothered to record these videos. I had in my head, I thought, this would be great for videos, and ultimately I just couldn't get myself motivated to make them, I suppose. That's why there was only one video last week, which was the Billy Gat John podcast, and even with that podcast, it came out late, which is why it didn't quite get the views I wanted it to. I originally wanted to put it out on Sunday, the day after the Dark Dimension came out. It ultimately went up on the Thursday after, literally only a couple of days before part 2, and, basing it off of the fact that this interview was ultimately recorded before part 1 even went out, it was just like, no, Adam Martin already did an interview with Billy Garrett John after I did, but he released it before, so ultimately my podcast became pretty irrelevant. And unfortunately, I've made some jokes about it in recent videos, but I have become very fixated on numbers and analytics. Unfortunately, it happens to all of us. I'd kind of avoided getting obsessed with analytics for quite a while. However, it has hit me. And when a video doesn't do so well, it does really make you feel down, to be quite honest with you. The sub growth was doing brilliantly. We were gaining a lot of subs, and now it's kind of gone down. And after, seeing, for example, Cynical Who reached 500 subs recently, and in a week is now gone up to 1k subs, which is obviously an amazing achievement. Amazing achievement for Livy and Max. I was talking the other week to Livy and another Doctor Who YouTuber, Dan Johnson, about Cynical Who reaching 500 subs, and wouldn't it be great for us to reach 1k subs? And then obviously Cynical Who has done that in a week, which is obviously brilliant. But also, I then compare that to my own sub growth, which was going great, and now isn't going so well. And I know it's only been like 2 weeks tops, but ultimately I can't get that out of my head that ultimately my sub growth isn't doing great, it isn't increasing like it was before when it was increasing really well. Ultimately, it hasn't really been doing that. I haven't been pumping out videos. That Billy Garrett John video didn't do quite as well as I wanted it to because I couldn't get motivated to edit it, ultimately. And I keep on thinking, my sub growth isn't doing that well. It's upsetting me a bit. So what I need to do is make some really good videos, but then I can't get motivated to make those videos. So ultimately I'm just in a weird box where I want the channel to grow because it's making me upset, but also I can't get motivated to make those videos because I don't feel like I'm in a great place, because I keep on thinking, I keep on putting off the videos, I keep on thinking, oh, I look miserable, I'm going to be really tired in the videos, they're not going to be great, so ultimately I should wait. It's the same with podcasts. I've been putting off a load of podcasts, I've been thinking, I'm really tired at the moment, I'm not really great, so I should wait until tomorrow, maybe put off a couple of days until I'm better, and you skip forward a couple of days, I'm just the same. Not great, to be quite honest with you, and it's really hard. You know, it's really annoying to be in this position where I don't feel great, I don't feel motivated to do anything, and it's really not great. It's not a great position to be in. And it's really odd for me because as someone who, you know, I am quite introverted, I've certainly improved recently on my social skills, but you know, I'm an absolute nerd who likes Doctor Who and all like Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not the most sociable person, you know, who would have figured. So really being stuck without seeing anyone realistically shouldn't affect me as much as it does. But I think what this lockdown has showed me especially is that ultimately, you know, I do need to speak to people, I do need to meet up with people, but then you get the anxiety where I haven't seen my friends in over a month, so it's going to be awkward when we meet up again. You know, what are we going to talk about? Is it just going to be really awkward? So then I keep on putting off messaging people to meet up with them, and then because I'm not meeting up with people, I then feel worse because I'm just isolated in my own house, not doing anything because I can't get motivated to do anything, not feeling happy with myself, not feeling happy with what I'm doing, not feeling happy with the channel, not feeling happy with my schoolwork because I'm worried that I'm getting ahead, but I can't get motivated to get myself up to date with work. It's awful. It's an awful position to be in ultimately, and I really hope that we can get out of lockdown, that I can go back to school, that I can get motivated with these things, because it's just going to make me feel so much better. Ultimately, I don't really know what the purpose of this video really was, but I suppose I just wanted to explain, I suppose, where I'm at, where's the channel's at, I suppose, because if anyone was wondering why it's been a little bit inconsistent recently, that's essentially been why it's really hard to get motivated to do these things. And obviously it's not just videos, it's had a knock-on effect on videos, but it's also had a knock-on effect on much more important things in my life, such as sixth form. Ultimately, it's really odd, but I suppose I thought I'd just talk about it if anyone was interested in, you know, why the channel has been a bit more sporadic recently in terms of uploads. This is why. I hope that after I've made this video and got all this out, that ultimately that will give me more motivation to make more videos, because I've got some really good videos that I've got planned that I really want to make, and especially after the Dark Dimension review, that may not seem like all too much of a significant video, but I was really happy with how that video came out. I was really happy with the jokes in it, the editing as well, because I recently got rid of Movie Maker. I'd been using Movie Maker for over 3 years, and ultimately I'd reached the end of my tether when it comes to Movie Maker. I was just getting so frustrated, so I bought some new editing software that ultimately allows me to do a lot more stuff, and ultimately I was really happy with essentially the whole production of that video, and I thought, you know, let's make more videos off the back of that, similar in that style, and it hasn't happened because of the reasons explained in this video, but hopefully now I can get on and make more videos, and yeah, hopefully those videos will be out soon. I can't promise anything. I mean, I hope after making this video that ultimately I felt more motivated to make more videos and just do things in general. I'm certainly going to try and make myself feel better and doing those important steps to try and make myself feel less awful. But obviously it's pretty unpredictable how I'm feeling, so ultimately I can't promise anything, but hopefully these videos will be out soon. I certainly hope so. Yeah, that's just where I am. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, you just leave a like if you want to. If you don't. It's just an update about me, I suppose. You know, if you're experiencing anything similar, or anything like that, just drop it in the comments below, because I know lockdown isn't particularly easy for anyone. I know a lot of people have had it a lot worse than me, but I just thought I'd get my thoughts out in the open. But regardless, if you're looking forward to the videos, subscribe. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and hopefully next time I'll be in a bit of a better mood, and it'll be a bit more of a positive video, to say the least. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and of course, a goodbye.